Prepare for liftoff. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff initiated.
Tweet sequence aborted.
Tweet sequence initiated. Tweet in 3, 2, 1. Tweet has been sent. I repeat, tweet has been sent. That tweet looks terrible. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got some people here watching.
Houston, we do not have the tweet.
The tweet has been initiated. Repeat. We got to put in some of that tower traffic noise, you know? Oh, I don't want to do this. It's going to get Lander all turned on. Sorry.
Turned on?
It's the
I'm like, what the heck is going on?
it's the ASMR stuff. I know you love it.
Oh, that wasn't very ASMR-y.
Sorry, I'll work on it. Shout out to Chase McLean. McLean! AC. He gives a very chipper, hello, governor. I think that was directed to you, Lander.
Oh, me? Hello,
Yeah, he
Governor.
spelled it
Back.
ELLOW. Is that? That's
Hello, yeah.
Oh, is that the way that
Oh,
the Brits do it?
I know about the W. I think the W is extraneous, but
Yeah, I don't think that's needed. Yeah, well, let's just hang out and let's wait for some people to shuffle on in, and then we'll get started. We got a ton of Apple news to talk about this week. I mean, so much stuff. You guys probably already know all the big stories. Am I recording this? Okay, good. Just making sure. You never know. Leander, any stories that you want to tell us to entertain, regale, while we're waiting for people to shuffle on in? People love your stories, Leander. Anything new going on in your life?
well, I'm going to, the reason I got to leave early is I'm going to go buy a bicycle with my son.
Oh.
He's buying his first high-end bike
Oh, shoot.
with his Trump bucks.
Trump box!
Trump bucks.
Well, wait a second. You can't get a high-end
I
bike
hate to
with
say it,
Trump
but
bucks?
Biden bucks sounds a whole lot better.
Biden, I kind of like Trump bucks. It just rolls off the tongue.
It's got the alliteration.
Biden bucks.
Biden bucks.
But I like that it's just two syllables. Trump bucks and then Biden bucks. It's like too much to say, you know what I mean? So what
I'll spend the same, I suppose.
it's not a high-end bike though if he's spending Trump bucks. That was only what, $600?
Yeah. Well, it's from his unemployment. He's been living at home.
He probably signed up for about 6 or 7 of them, right?
Right.
Well, once you take into account all the fraud, yeah, he's got like $15,000. He says he has 15 kids.
He's not been paying rent, so he's managed to save a little bit of money this summer.
Jeez, nice dad. Is your whole family back at your house now? Is it the entire family united?
No, half of them.
Half of them.
Half-
Well, that's a
half
lot of
the kids.
people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. Yeah, in a small house.
You guys are all right on top of each other, of course.
Oh yeah, and pets galore too. 2 cats, a dog.
Oh, yeah. Someone's asking why you're
crowded.
not wearing your AirPods Max. Oh, thank goodness you're not wearing your AirPods Max, because here's what happened last show. After I went to go edit the audio, I realized, our recording and cast had selected your AirPods Max mic, and so your entire audio track sounded like doo-doo.
Oh, really?
And for some reason, the audio track that you're recording on your computer, I don't know, we have to check the bitrate or something because it constantly goes out of sync with the rest of our audio. So I have to go in every 3 or 4 minutes and like insert like a little bit of a break so that your audio catches up with me and Lewis. It was an absolute,
Really?
complete and total nightmare. Yeah.
Oh dear, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it wasn't nearly as bad as that audio track that Alex E. Heath gave me that one time where he recorded it with with his AirPods. But I don't think his AirPods were in his ears. I think he had jammed them right up his keister. That's what it sounded like anyway. You know? Not good for sound
recommended.
quality. And the user guide strictly prohibits that if you want your warranty to
Warranty
be
is void
we'll definitely void your warranty.
once voided.
These aren't earpods. They're not white. What are these?
Rear pods. Oh my.
Boy, that came to your mind a little too fast.
Too much
All right.
coffee.
All right. I'm glad that you had some coffee because normally you always complain about not having coffee, and then you spend the entire first 20 minutes of the show complaining that you don't have enough coffee and that you need
That problem
energy.
has been solved.
Yeah. Okay, good. I hope you got an IV going directly into your arm or one of the other major veins. All right, guys. Well, Leander has to go in an hour. So we're going to try and crank through all this in an hour. I think we should just go ahead and get started. Where are all my notes? Do I have them all lined up? Yeah, I do. You guys, I really should take a picture of my screen so you can see what I'm dealing with here, because it's totally insane. I mean, if it were any crazier, it would be Leander Caney.
We have a
Come on,
newfound
Leander, that
respect
was
for you.
great. How's it going? All right, let's hit up the old miss. Where is she? Old Mrs. Doubtfire. Where'd she go? You'd think I would have this locked down by now. But did I move the button? Where is it? It's probably there somewhere. No? That's not it. It's gone. Let me just sit here for another 5 minutes staring at it and see if I can find it, but I can't. So there we go. I must have pulled it off. So let's just oh wait. It's literally right in front of me. Mrs. Doubtfire, yes! Are you ready? Oh, is it Cultcast time? It is. Leander is dying to get ready. He said that he's going to look entertained the entire show. He can't wait. Oh, that's great news.
So
Normally he
engaged.
looks so bored. All right, well.
What's that big piece of wood behind you?
Oh, man. Don't even ask.
Don't ask about his
Don't
wood.
ask, never ask about my wood again.
God almighty.
Yeah. Somebody else is asking what's in the background. I could do a whole episode on what's in the background.
Yeah, what is going on there back there? Is that a
We don't
bunch
have
of
time to
toys?
cover it. We don't have time to
You're
talk
running
about
an auto parts store out of your studio there.
It's all I'm gonna say is I'm doing a little bit of experimentation with a little something called the retail arbitrage that I'll be putting out an episode on in the
Really?
future, and it is totally insane, and it's actually working. I can't believe it. All right, but we can't talk about it right now because we got to start the show. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the Cultcast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're gonna hear all week long. I'm your host, Arifan Elijah. Joining me today, he's the author of 6 definitive Apple books, but now he much prefers smoking up the paper rather than writing on it. He's the founder of Cultimac. Leander Caney is here.
Hello, Emma, thank you.
Also with us, I once saw him choke a man out for using the spelling T-H-E-I-R instead of T-H-E-R-E. He's a real stickler when it comes to grammar. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Yeah, beware the homonyms.
Is that what that is?
2 things that sounded like you.
Oh, yeah. God, I could probably not even pass a first grade grammar test at this point. I have literally forgotten everything that I've learned in school. I do know which words to use when it comes to like there and there and there and all that kind of stuff. But like pronouns and semi-nouns and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what actually any of that stuff is.
Semi-nouns?
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, you don't know what semi-nouns are? Who's the grammar and spelling expert now, Lewis? Next time I see you, I'm going to choke you out. No more choking me out. I'm going to choke you out. All right, we got a ton of stuff to talk about this show. Major news on the Apple Car front. As many of you know, we have a story that all but cements the fact that we're getting an Apple Car. And not only that, but a really interesting detail about Apple Car that is unlike any of the electric cars on the market today that I'm really excited about. So that's enough twerking on the nips. I'll leave that there. We'll talk about that story. We're also going to talk about Apple's upcoming VR headset that no one seems to care about, and you're going to care about it even less now that we tell you how much it's going to cost. This is a hot story coming from Alex E. Heath. I hate to admit that, and I don't even want to talk about this story, but it is big news, and it is put out by Alex E. Heath. It's a big scoop, so we'll talk about that. And Alex E. Heath is going to be coming on Cultcast Off Topic tomorrow to talk about the show. I invited him on today, but he has journalisming things to do. You know how that goes. And I thought we could do another quick explainer on how to use iCloud passwords on your PC via Google Chrome. I tried to get this working last week when we spoke about it, and it was not working. It was totally horrendously broken, an utter train wreck. And I'm sorry that I wasted your time by even talking about it. But now it's actually working, and it's pretty friggin' cool. In fact, I would say it's even life-changing. I really do mean that. If you use a PC and a Mac, this is going to unify your life. Look what I'm doing with my hands right now. Can you see that? That is a unification that you're really going to enjoy in your everyday life. So we'll talk about that. Before we dive in, let me give a very hearty thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/cultcast. If you need a website, who doesn't need a website these days? Everybody needs a website, especially if you have a business. You got to be online, dude. Head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. You can start literally any kind of website you want. You could do a blog if you want to just put your thoughts out there. You can charge to have people book your time, and then you could teach them things that you're knowledgeable about. This is a really big industry. I had no idea how much money people are making doing this, but it's crazy. If you have a skill that you can teach people, especially these days, because everyone is doing online learning and no one is going anywhere, you can build a website like that. You can do a membership website where you can have a big group of people paying to be part of a community. You can sell services and products of all kinds, digital services, digital products, physical products, and Squarespace has these hooks that work with all of these really popular services, so you can integrate them into your website, and those will help you run your website, ship your products, keep track of everything, your inventory, make things really easy for tax time. I have a Squarespace website. In fact, I have two, and they really are great. And they're easy to set up, easy to use, easy to maintain. And if you're ready to get your website set up, head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. Set up a website, see how you like it. At the end of your 2-week free trial, if you like what you have, use code CULTCAST at checkout, and you will get 10% off your first purchase. Plus, if you order a year of service, which is what I do, you get an additional discount and a free domain name. So it ends up being a really great deal. Squarespace.com/cultcast. Use code CULTCAST at checkout to get that discount. What was that? It sounded like someone just pulled the arm on a slot machine, Leander. Was that you?
No, I dropped my spinner, my fidget spinner.
Oh, you have a fidget spinner?
Oh yeah.
What year is it? 19... Oh, whoa.
I don't know. I'm totally addicted to it. I love this thing. I fiddle with it all the time, and I've even got this pen one too. I love this one.
Oh, I like that one. I've never seen that design before.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh.
Sorry.
So it's like for those listening, it's like a pen with a fidget spinner at the end.
This one's a great one. Yeah.
Oh man,
My
I
favorite.
can only imagine how many hours you spend staring at those once you've hit
Fidgeting
session
at
mode on the old Puffco Plus.
Perfect compliment.
Just like staring at it intently. All right, Leander, I think you're first up here. Let's talk about.
Lewis is.
Oh, Lewis is. That's what I meant to say. Lewis, you're first
Yeah.
up here. Let's talk about Apple Car because Leander's got to be out of here in 50 minutes. He's got to hit up the Puffco Plus before he goes on his appointment.
Better
Let's talk
put
about
the
Apple Car,
pedal
Lewis.
to the metal.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so Bloomberg this week is reporting that Apple could be poised to sign a $3.6 billion deal with Kia Motors to build an Apple car. This is Reuters, citing a Korean news outlet that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. The report says that Apple and
Well,
Kia.
Yeah, you
What?
should
Yeah,
pronounce it.
you really
It's
should try.
Pretty funny.
Come on.
Let's hear it.
Come on, say it.
I want to hear it with.
Ilbo.
No, I want to hear it with a
Donga
Korean accent too, Lewis. You got to say it authentically.
Yeah, okay.
No,
definitely
no
gonna try to
offensive.
do it.
No
I'm not
offensive.
saying it's offensive. I'm just saying
This
you
is
should
gonna be
say it the
offensive.
way it's supposed to be said.
Yeah,
What?
Donga Ilbo.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you're fired as my
that's not
translator.
the important.
Mhm.
The important part is that this report says that Apple and Kia, which is owned by Hyundai, you may have heard of Hyundai, could sign a deal as soon as February 17th. That's 2 weeks. Apple would then aim to introduce Apple cars in 2024 with a possible target of producing 100,000 electric vehicles per year, according to Donga Ilbo. These cars would supposedly be manufactured at Kia's factory in Georgia. Georgia, the U.S. state of Georgia, not the
Yeah.
Eastern Europe country.
Oh,
of
okay.
Georgia.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for clarifying.
And this follows on reports from January when Hyundai said that it had talked with Apple about potential partnership to manufacture these cars. And of course, South Korean company backed away from that after, probably you just imagine like a very, very tense phone call from Tim Cook, right?
Right.
But anyway, so there's like a steady drumbeat of these Apple Car rumors. It just keeps getting more and more like serious and more details, and it's getting crazier and crazier. And it sounds like I'm just kind of astonished, really.
I know this is part of your story, Leander, but I feel like it's worth mentioning that Apple also hired Porsche's head of chassis development to work on hardware, and they also hired Tesla's chief of autonomous vehicle software development. And so both those guys now are working for Apple. I mean, if there was any question that Apple was working on an Apple car, I don't think you could have that question anymore. I disallow it. You're an
They're
Apple
probably
car
working
denier.
on new
We
Apple
found
Watch
a bunch
band.
of. Sorry, Lewis.
Nothing. Just kidding.
He's just making color commentary. What are you going to say?
We found a bunch of job listings too for the Apple car.
Oh, you did?
If you go to Apple's job site, there's what is it, Lewis? About a dozen at least. Outstanding.
Yeah, there were a few. Some of them are clearly about CarPlay, but the other ones are more like sound a lot more like actual job things. It's like must have experience on an auto manufacturing line. Almost that specific,
explicit. Yeah. And there was like a car experience job that they wanted, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't remember the actual term for the but it was some like job description, job title that you would hear about at GM or Tesla.
Like airbag deployment specialist.
Right.
software job.
Transmission.
Steering wheel designer.
Right.
Steering wheel button designer. Sorry, what were you going to say, Leander?
Well, it's weird how this the rumors go back quite a few years, don't they? 3-4 years, maybe more.
Oh, yeah.
Project Titan.
2014 is when it first came out, right? That's
according to the story.
Was it? So 6 years ago, and then the rumors were that it was a really big team. They'd hired all these different people. Then the rumor was they'd laid them all off. The thing was moribund, and there weren't any rumors. But then all of a sudden, this last, like you said, this last couple of months, I mean, they're becoming thick and fast.
Yeah, it seems like we're talking about it almost every week now. And I think the most exciting part of this story is something that we had heard before, and that was that they're basically going to make this into a Johnny car from Total Recall. Right, Leander?
So yeah, that's the latest one. So this is from CNBC. Apple car will never need a driver. No driver at all. So no one will ever drive the Apple car, according to leaked information. Apple's reportedly planning a vehicle that's completely autonomous. It'll be programmed, not driven. That would make it less like what Tesla offers and more like Alphabet's Waymo is developing in the Johnny car from Total Recall. So, quote, the first Apple cars will not be designed to have a driver, unquote, an unnamed inside source told CNBC. Quote, these will be autonomous electric vehicles designed to operate without a driver and focused on the last mile, end quote. So current driver assist systems like the ones built into vehicles made by Tesla and others take the first option because they aren't very good at the last mile the leaker mentioned. These cars can handle the relatively easy task of steering themselves on the interstate, but they can't get from the off-ramp to the driveway. Apple developers are allegedly tackling this challenge. So Apple has been hard at work on the self-driving car since at least 2014. There's been a flurry of leaks about the company's plans recently. This is crazy. I mean, maybe it will have no steering wheel. That's kind of what they're saying.
If they don't put one of those Johnny Cab dudes in the front driver's seat to have him look back and be like, where would you like to go today? All I'm saying is that's going to be a huge mistake. But
that would
they
be an optional $3,000 accessory.
Oh, $3,000. You're definitely optimistic on that. That's going to be like 10K for sure if you want that guy sitting in there. Except it's going to look like Jim Cook. It's going to look like Tim Cook. And it's going to be in that same
Doesn't
outfit.
he end up ripping it out and chucking out the
Yeah,
window?
he does. Which is what you're going to do when the car goes haywire. It tries to drive you off the overpass because it's connected to Apple Maps. Let's hope that's not what's running this thing.
Siri, right.
Every time I hear this totally autonomous stuff, I think about the fact that my AirPods, the ear detect thing, I keep turning it off. Every time I go and take one out, stops. Like it cannot retain the setting of my AirPods. Okay. So put me in a car. Just put me in a car and drive me downtown 40 miles an hour. I can't wait.
40? Yeah. More like 140 when it goes haywire. Something shoots out the hood. You're like, what's that? That was the governor. Now we're doing 170.
Yeah.
We cannot stop in the tenderloin.
Your scream
is-
is going to hit pitches that it never has before. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is really kind of bold, I mean, like no steering wheel, no driver assisted, and like completely autonomous. This is like a big leapfrog over the current offerings, isn't it? The driver assist stuff. I mean, not even Tesla's going this far.
I think
And they haven't
Tesla
done
maybe
this in
wants to
50
go this
years.
far, but it seems like they perhaps can't figure it out. What are you going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, well, and 2024, to have a totally autonomous car in a couple of years, this seems really ambitious, because there's a couple of companies that have completely autonomous vehicles. Isn't Waymo running autonomous taxis in Phoenix, Arizona? And there's another company, Voyage, I think it is. They have a fleet of autonomous taxis in like Sun City, I think, or like some retirement community somewhere, that ferries some of our older citizens to the rec center every day and back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very sort of protected environment. There's no
Same route every day.
yeah
Nobody
yeah,
allowed on the street.
right.
Isn't this for a while there? One of the rumors was that that was exactly what Apple was working on, right? Instead of a car, they were working on a people mover that would be just like a bus that takes you from point A to point B, safely, which, maybe that's one of the things that maybe they're working on all these things. Who knows? I can't believe that they would only do a car that does not have a steering wheel. I don't know. Seems unbelievable.
Yeah,
to me,
that is interesting, isn't it? And it kind of makes you wonder if there's going to be more than one model, like a consumer model. Well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Leander, can you cover this? Can you cover this last bit about how it's going to hit the road in 2025, but it won't be cheap?
Yeah, sure. So this is another rumor that came up this week, and it apparently, so the Apple Car could ship in 2025, and it would be positioned at the quote very high end in terms of pricing. And this is according to our old friend Ming-Chi Kuo, the only reliable Apple analyst out there. Yeah, so very, very high end. He doesn't give a dollar figure, but he writes that the sticker price as well, the cost of the Apple Car components will come in much, much higher than those for a regular electric vehicle. In a note to clients that was seen by the Cult of Mac, the respected analyst also writes that if Apple's rumored partnership with Honda goes well, the tech giant could come to similar arrangements with General Motors. And there's also talk of deals with Peugeot, Citroën, and Vauxhall vehicles, which could follow. So in terms of the possible 2025 timeline, Kuo calls it, quote, a tight schedule due to the challenges of developing the vehicle. He knows that the typical electric vehicle contains 40 to 50 times more components than a smartphone.
Okay, so check this out. If it's going to be at the very high end of cars, I wonder if that means, is it going to be a car for consumers? Is this going to be something that consumers can buy? Or is Apple going to be buying this car to operate in some kind of fleet capacity where you just get in and it drives you somewhere, which seems to be what it might be designed to do? And if it doesn't even have a steering wheel, I mean, how many people are going to buy a car without a steering wheel? That's a tough sell for a lot of people. They're going to want to at least have the option of having a steering wheel. A lot of people like to drive their cars, right?
It'll be an option like a dongle, right? You can.
There you go. The dongle.
$12,000 steering wheel.
You plug it in via Thunderbolt. Yeah, and it goes right in there. As you're driving, it's like, bonk. Oh, no.
Well, I can't believe they're going to do the fleet stuff. Like it just doesn't seem like Apple's MO at all. Like they sell devices to individuals, and I think if it's like a like a truly autonomous car, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't try to sell that to individuals. I can't see them doing the fleet thing. The whole fleet thing just doesn't seem like Apple at all.
I would love to own a car that is designed to drive you around. I've spoken about this before, but just imagine the future, okay? You buy a car that doesn't have a steering wheel, and the seats are facing each other rather than the back one's facing forward and the front one's facing forward. And so you can like hang out with people, maybe take a couple hits from your Puffco Plus because you're not actually the driver, right?
Right.
Tim Cook is driving it remotely from his office. Or you could do work. So you're going somewhere. It's gonna take you 45 minutes or whatever to get there, and then you can just sit back. That is a car I would love to own. And then because it's totally autonomous, when you're done with it, you could probably deploy it in some kind of fleet mode so it can go drive Uber for you and make you some money back on the car. I mean, this is all what could be possible if you had a car that was totally autonomous. Now, the question is is this going to be possible in 5 years? People keep talking about vehicle autonomy, and Tesla's been working on this for how long? I mean, it's the proverbial carrot. They always have it out there. They're like, do you want to upgrade your car to full autonomy when the technology is finally ready? You should upgrade now. It's only $5,000. We're going to be raising it to $7,000 next month. And they've been doing that for, I don't know, 5 years. And yet the only autonomy that you can have right now is you sitting nervously behind your steering wheel as your car moves the wheel itself and tells you, don't take your hands off the steering wheel. So
Right.
it kind of seems like vaporware to me. And if Apple was actually able to get it working, that is the holy grail of driving autonomy.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it would be unbelievable. It would be, like people talk about working from home being transformative. During the pandemic, like changing the whole dynamic of like offices and cities and downtowns and commuting. Well, the same thing would be true with a truly autonomous car, wouldn't it? I mean, you can imagine like it would change everything: the way you work, where you live. Commuting, going on vacation. I mean, it would be great to take a vacation, that thing, wouldn't it? You could sleep all night.
Oh,
It'd be like
that's a great
the
point.
ultimate road trip,
Yeah.
and you wake up and you're in a new city somewhere, hundreds of miles away. And yeah, but the timeline's kind of weird. Like you said, Tesla's been pushing. They call their system full autonomy when it's really sort of a driver assist system. But a couple of weeks ago, some people drove all the way up from Tesla's headquarters down in Hawthorne in Southern California in LA. All the way up here to Silicon Valley, completely autonomously. They didn't touch the car at all, except I think to pull in to the charging station. For some reason, I don't know why they needed to take manual control of that, but they managed to drive like I think it's 400 or 500 miles, mostly up the freeway. But from Southern California to Northern California, that's pretty remarkable. And there's a YouTube video you can watch them doing this.
But that's kind of right up the alley of autonomy at this stage. Is it's really good at driving on the highway and keeping within the lanes, but where it struggles, and this is in the story I think too, is when you're trying to pull up to the charging station and you don't want to run over the driving attendant who's standing there, right? Like, or there's little obstacles in the way. That's where it really starts to get confused, and that is the most difficult kind of driving, because you need to be looking around to see what's going on around you at all times.
Right, absolutely. It seems like they're getting pretty close, but it's those edge cases, like you said, and it's those edge cases that that's the most important thing, isn't it? You don't want to make any. It's got to be completely mistake-free. It cannot make any mistakes at all, which is a high bar.
Yeah, the highest bar. It can't do anything, because if it does absolutely anything, they're going to be sued out of existence. So it seems hard to believe that Apple has figured this out, where Tesla, who has been doing this longer and how long has Tesla been around now? 10 years? I don't even know.
Yeah, and they got tons and tons of data. But they're using a system that's got a little bit controversial. It's all cameras, no LiDAR, right?
Oh, is that true? I don't know actually how the technology
is. Yeah, it's
works.
all cameras and no LiDAR, which I think is a little bit controversial. So some other companies saying that it's not ever, it will never be possible for them to get full autonomy using that, because there's just not enough data.
Well, dude, that's weird. Why not? If that's the only problem, that seems like an easy problem to fix. Just add some LiDAR to the dang thing, or, tape a couple iPhone 12s to the front. Problem solved.
Right. Precisely.
That's going to be the secret of the Apple car. It's the hardware tie-in, right? It's like Tim Cook's going to introduce the car, and he'll be like, and if you want full driving, y'all, you just put your iPhone 12 helmet on, and then you strap in your iPhone 12, and you have to have like a helmet with like 2 iPhone 12s strapped in, like one of those beer helmets, and you have to be wearing that at all times so that the car can see where it's going. You don't actually run over someone, Well, this is exciting news. I wasn't expecting to get full autonomy and have it be designed in such a way where you're not expected to be driving the car, because I feel like the Tesla autonomy is kind of weird. I actually don't even understand the point of it, quite honestly. People get excited about it, and then they always want to show it to you, and they're like, watch. And they're sitting there, and they're like, they nervously take their hands off the wheel, and they're like, okay, let's go. And the car is driving itself. But it's like, yeah, but how can you relax? You're sitting there looking at everything that's going on, and you're sitting there with your arms crossed, hoping that nothing happens. Right, exactly. And you're still positioned in a way where you're supposed to be driving the car. You can't relax in that state. Like, I want a lazy boy right in the middle of the car, so I can be sitting there kicked back, watching like a 65-inch plasma, playing Call of Duty via, 5G or something. That's the experience that I want. But anyway, it was really cool to see this development, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. We keep getting these stories as Lewis and Leander explained, and they keep coming in more and more and more often. You know what's interesting is I kind of wonder, it seems like a lot of people really aren't interested in Apple Car, to be honest with you. And as long as we're talking about stories that people don't think are interesting, I would say Apple's VR headset is kind of right up in that alley. I don't think anyone cares about this Apple VR headset. We're going to talk about it anyway because we got more details on it now than we've ever had in the past. And this is an Alex E. Heath exclusive story.
What?
Alex E. Heath. You don't remember him. We basically launched his career, Lewis. He was a big nobody, and then he came on the show, and then right to the moon. He's going up to where Bitcoin and Dogecoin are going to be soon. And he's working with the information now. And for people who are listening, new listeners, Alex E. Heath used to be a Cultimac writer, used to be on the show, and then he left to go to. Was he at Bloomberg? No, he
Cheddar.
Oh, he went to Cheddar. Well, he was somewhere before Cheddar. Where was he before Cheddar? He was at.
Was he at Business Insider?
Business
That's right.
Insider.
That's right. He was at Business Insider. He went to get his hands
Young
on
man
that
on
Cheddar.
the go.
And now he's at the information. And I have never forgiven him for leaving the Coldcast, to be honest with you. And seeing him do big things, it really hurts my feelings. But honestly, it also makes me feel good. I'm so proud of myself for teaching Alex everything that he knows. Because he wouldn't be where he is without my nurturing, without my...
Mentorship.
Exactly.
Right.
So you're welcome, Alex. I'll be expecting some royalties. So let's talk about this Apple $3,000 VR headset story. Can I pull this up here? Yeah, I can. I got way too many windows going here. So I'll give you guys something to look at here while I do this story. So we got some new details on Apple's VR headset. This thing is looking like a complete monster, way bigger and more powerful than we were expecting, with a much higher price tag, as you can see from the story here. Apple's $3,000 VR headset could boast 8K display and advanced hand and eye tracking technology. From Alex E. Heath, and I think there's someone else in the byline. I forget their name. I apologize for that. Apple's mixed reality headset could cost $3,000, which just proves to me that the DEA needs to bust into Tim Cook's office and see what kind of things he's smoking, because that price is way too high. The device supposedly will boast high-resolution 8K displays and some smart eye tracking technology, plus more than a dozen built-in cameras which could track wearers' hand movements. And this is a quote from the information story. The inclusion of two 8K displays in the headset would make its picture quality far higher, not just far higher, than that of recent consumer headsets and even the majority of high-end televisions. Yeah, dude. Most TVs are 4K. 8K is ridiculous. Why would you even need 8K? Let's see here. That will let the headset show lower quality graphics. Oh, wait, sorry. Apple has for years worked on technology that uses eye tracking to fully render only parts of the display where the user is looking. Oh, interesting. That would let the headset show lower quality graphics in the user's peripheral vision and reduce the device's computing needs, according to people knowledgeable of the efforts. Wow, so that's crazy. So normally a screen has all 8K or all 4K, but they would increase the resolution specifically in the areas that you're moving. So it would not need as much computing power, but I don't care what this thing does. $3,000, that is beyond the realm of reason, I think, for most of the most even passionate VR users, unless they're into some real sick stuff and they demand only the most premium VR experiences for that. That's the only guys I see. I mean, it's like the I'm not going to say the word, but the Blank Hub website. That's the only guys I see investing in this.
Blank Hub.
The Blank Hub website, guys. What do you think, Leander?
I don't know. Yeah, it's
You got
crazy
yours on
pricing.
pre-order,
that
huh?
sounds like a pricing for like some developer kit, like not for a consumer. because they're never going to sell any if it's $3,000 for a consumer piece item. I mean, people freaked out with the Apple Air
I was
Max
gonna say.
headphones were $500, let alone three grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dead in the water. There's no way that they're going to sell any if it's 3 grand. No way. Even the most passionate, user, even if it was amazing. The 8K displays, though, that sounds like, because it's so close to your eyes, isn't it? So it's got to get that detail. Presumably, if it's any less, then you would start to see pixels and other, whatever artifacts they are. But it's interesting that they, like I said, it tracks your eyes so that it only resolves the highest resolution, the part of the display you're actually looking at. I mean, that sounds kind of interesting. But yeah, 8K, 3 grand, madness.
Yeah, especially considering it seems like no one's interested in this product now. I mean, I'm looking at our broadcast statistics. I'm like, whenever we mention Apple VR headset, it just goes boom. It just goes into a deep V. Everyone clears out because it seems like no one really cares about VR. I think this thing will be a lot cooler than we probably think it will be, but it's going to have some pretty magical features to justify a price above $500, which is, I think, where the most powerful VR headsets are now. And you can get VR headsets for $300 now. They've come way down in price. And 8K is cool, but what are you going to do with 8K technology? There's barely enough 4K technology. And 8K technology, I don't think that is any content, period, that you can even watch in 8K besides the demo stuff that they use to market the 8K stuff, like the 8K TVs and stuff. Lewis, any thoughts on this? You're being awfully quiet over there, Lewis.
My head's just spinning. I mean, I can't. It's VR headset kind of. I start thinking about that stuff, and I just think, if somebody handed me one, I don't think I would strap it on my head twice. I mean, I just don't understand what a VR headset is about. I can't imagine a situation where I'm going to strap that thing on my head and, play a game. I think I'm just not the guy for this technology.
That's what I'm saying, Lewis. Blank Hub Pro users. Those are the only guys who are going to strap this on. They're going to sell their entire doll collection to afford this headset and just use Blank Hub and the 8K VR Apple headset. I mean, I'm not even joking about that. I think that actually might be accurate because who else is going to buy a $3,000
That is
headset?
a rather unappealing demographic. It's hard to see Tim Cook getting up on stage and saying, well, this is going to be perfect for,
he's going to bring up the executive of Blank Hub for the demo, the quick demo, right?
You have a very moist partnership with the.
Gosh.
Just. Are you allowed to say the word moist
this
these days?
This is getting kind of smutty.
This is going downhill fast. I can't believe you guys. Unbelievable. We try to keep
You're
it
the one who
wholesome.
brought it up.
Let's talk about, virtual museum tours and wholesome stuff.
Yeah, because people are going to buy a headset for $3,000 for a virtual museum tour.
Learning how to do brain surgery. I mean, there are some manufacturing, industrial, medical things that this might
that's
be
a fair point.
used for, right? I mean, and if you're talking about this will help you learn brain surgery, then maybe $3,000 starts to make sense, right? And we did just hear that Apple's hiring people for medical hardware, right? So
I didn't add that story to our lineup here, but that's at least worth mentioning. So they have job listings that are specifically for Apple medical hardware. Am I right? Keep me honest on that, right, Lewis? So they're hiring people for, it looks like, designing actual Apple medical hardware.
Yeah, and what is that? Is that a blood sensor that is, FDA approved? Is that some kind of headset that teaches you how to do surgery? I mean, I don't know what they're talking about with that, but I mean, that $3,000 for a VR headset. I mean, it's got to be more than just games, right? It's got to be. There's got to be some kind of it just sounds like something that only business or medicine would be required. Would that's the only situation in which that makes sense, right? Like you strap that on and suddenly you're managing Amazon's warehouses remotely or something. It seems impossible that you're going to see those stacked up at the Apple store and people are going to walk in and just, oh yeah, I think I'll take one.
Well, to Leander's point, it is possible this could be some kind of like developer kit. And that would actually make a lot of sense if it were a developer kit of some kind. But I do know this for sure. This story was vetted by Alex E. Heath. There's nothing in here that isn't factual, okay? So I won't hear of that. Everything in here can be taken as gospel. And I know that the entire story is 100% true because it was put together by Alex E. Heath. And I taught that guy how to be thorough, you know? So I know for sure that this is true. So more information to be continued on this. Again, I will say I wonder who's going to be excited about this product. If I'm just being honest with you.
What was the launch date? What's the rumored launch date for this thing? It was kind of all over the place, wasn't it? Like later this year or early next year?
Let's take a look. I don't think the story says we have, as part of our story, we have a recent report suggested that Apple's VR headset could debut in the first quarter of 2022. But I don't think we actually know when this will be out. People in the chat, people watching, let us know. What do you think about these? I see Jay Price in there chatting it up. Someone was saying that they want to see Lewis playing Beat Saber. Have you ever heard of that game, Lewis?
Beat Saber. No.
Yeah. Dude, I want to see you play Beat Saber. I think it's called Beat Saber. It's like a video game where like things are flying at you and you have to like that would be unbelievable video right there is to see
Have a heart attack.
is to see you do that. And it would be epic video because in the midst of it, you would probably have a heart attack and you might die, which would be sad. But think of the views.
Think
Lewis.
of the views on YouTube.
But just think of the views, Lewis. Come on. Can you at least fake it?
Take one for the team.
Just fake one. Okay. Enough with that. We're just cruising through these stories really fast. I think that's all of the official Apple news that we have. But I want to talk about using iCloud passwords inside of Google Chrome. This is something that we talked about last week, and sadly, I could not figure out how to freaking get this working last week when we did the story. And so now I have it all worked out. And if you are a PC user and a Mac user like I am, right, you really want to have your passwords synced across both platforms. This has been a feature that I have wanted for years. In fact, I was talking about this last show. I was actually looking for a Chrome extension that could do this, that could sync your iCloud passwords on your PC because I don't want to have to maintain two separate databases of passwords, one on my PC, which I usually use Chrome, and then one on my Mac, which is where I have most of my passwords stored. And I was like, please, could there just be a way that I could have my Mac passwords work on my PC? Well, I have HomePods everywhere in my house, and so I'm certain that Tim Cook was listening in that day, and he's like, that's a great idea, y'all. Because within 7 days, we had this Chrome extension available. Well, it wasn't actually available when we talked about it. So here's how all this works. You need to download iCloud for your PC. It's just an app that you download it from the Microsoft Store. Now, when we did the story last week, it wasn't available. Well, version 12 wasn't available. And that was the version that you needed to get this working. I think last week, 11.6 was available. So now it's available. If you go to the Microsoft Store, unfortunately, I can't pull that up here, but if you go to the Microsoft Store, you can download version 12, and then it will give you an option to install the Google Chrome extension, which also wasn't available last week for some reason. So once you install the extension, you will see this little cloud icon that I'm showing you here with my cursor, and it will live up where your extensions live. And when there is a password available for a site that you're on, it will turn blue. Otherwise, it just stays gray. And well, I should also mention you have to authorize your computer, which is just like authorizing a new Apple device. It will pop up like an authorization on your phone. You have to type in a code, right? And then once you do that, you should be good to go. And it's cool. Then once you go through to a website you've never used before, it will give you the option to insert your username and password. It's a kind of a bit cumbersome, to be honest. You know, like with Google Chrome, when you do a password, when it enters your password automatically, it will just insert it right into the field right there in line. But with the iCloud Chrome extension, you actually have to go up and... Can I show this to you guys? No, I can't because it's going to give away my personal email and my password. So unfortunately, I can't show it to you. But when you use the Chrome extension, you have to click on the Chrome extension, and then it will show you what usernames and passwords are available for that website. So it's not exactly streamlined. They need to fix that. I hope they can fix that. And then the nice part is anytime you enter a password in that is not in iCloud, it will ask you if you want to save that username and password. And then if you do that, that username and password will be available on your Apple devices as well. So it completely unifies all of your passwords and usernames. And then as you do this, all the passwords that you had stored in Chrome that iCloud doesn't know, it will start to learn. And eventually, wait, what was I doing before? Look at that. There it is. It's back. Complete
Nice gang sign.
unity. I probably shouldn't do that. That probably is a gang sign, and now I've challenged some local gang
West
to
Seattle
the
Roughneck's
West,
going to be banging
the West
on your
Seattle
door.
Spider Club is going to come and
Spider Club.
come mow me down in a hail of Uzi fire. Dude, there's a word that never gets used anymore. Uzi. Do you remember how cool those were in the 80s and 90s? Everyone wanted to have an Uzi. I wanted to have one. I was like, really young. You don't have an Uzi, do you, Lewis?
No, sir.
Did you ever want one?
Never really had a great desire or need for an Uzi.
Surprising.
Well, the way things are going in San Francisco, just give it a few more years. You might be back on the Uzi market. They're just such a cool gun because they're like a small, like little boxy one. It's like what all the gangsters used. I thought
They're impossible to control, aren't they? Don't they go crazy?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pulling the trigger, it's like spraying bullets everywhere.
Yeah, they call it the spray and pray, I think,
Yeah.
But when you're mad,
Oh my God.
it's not a bad way to
That's the
go.
best
But
time
and
to
you're
have a
trying
gun.
to you're trying to mow down like a whole you're trying to mow down a whole gang of aliens that just showed up on your planet. That's when you want the Uzi on your side. You know what I'm saying, guys? I think that's it. Look, clearly this show is rolling off the tracks quickly. And Leander, look at this.
Like an autonomous car.
We started off with all sorts of great stories, and now we're talking about Uzi Fire. So I think that is our cue to go ahead and start the music. There we go. And Leander, you have 10 minutes to hit up the Puffco Plus and then head out on your way. All right, guys. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it for this week. That's all the cool casts we have for you guys this week. But if you want to come and say hi, tell us about your favorite alien destroying weapons. We're all on Twitter. I'm at Airfon. That's so stupid. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Oh my gosh, where am I going? This has been the Cult Cast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Cult Cast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone for watching. And we will see you guys next time. That really went off the tracks, didn't it? I blame you, Lewis, for bringing in the gang talk.
Oh, really? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I learned that from Leander. When things are not going my way, I blame it on you guys.
Good thinking.
Solid strategy I use.
So Ian was posting.
Oh,
stuff up in
we're still
Slack.
live. We're still live. We're still live. Oh,
We're still alive.
should we go back and answer some of the comments? You guys want to go back?
No.
I don't think so.
I got to agree with Norman Isaac, who says if you compare Siri learning ability to learn and map to Apple autonomy, they're going to take a lifetime to get there.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second of silence here while I wrap it up. You guys are really leaving now. Catch you guys later.